he's now in a mix where he's getting more first-team reps. I want to be very interested and intrigued to see what he can do with those reps. And who knows? If he keeps performing.
So what can Shedeur do? I think it's important to see what he can do this season, because if he's good, then maybe you have your franchise quarterback.
And yet he has found himself in maybe the only situation imaginable where I would be arguing he's got to play.
Shedeur Sanders has everyone talking after his stunning performance with the first-team defense. On his very first day facing off against the first-team defense, he looked like he belonged at the highest level. Now, experts and analysts are buzzing. Some are even saying he's earned a spot with the starters. But how did he manage to impress so quickly? What makes Shedeur Sanders stand out? And should he really be starting with the first team already? Nick Wright made his stance clear, stating that Shedeur Sanders deserved to be the starter. Wright wasn't just impressed by Sanders' talent, he also pointed out that Sanders was competing against quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Joe Flacco. When it came to Kenny Pickett, Wright wasn't kind. He argued that Pickett had already been given ample opportunities to prove himself, but had failed to convince anyone he was the franchise quarterback. In Wright's eyes, Pickett simply wasn't the answer.
Because he has found himself with Kenny Pickett, who is not an NFL quarterback. Flatly not an NFL quarterback. We have seen it every chance he's had, every opportunity he's had to play.
As for Joe Flacco, Wright dismissed him outright, stating that Flacco's time had come and gone. Despite his Super Bowl pedigree, Flacco no longer had what it took to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Flacco, who I just think if you're the Browns, what are you doing? Why?
Unless they think they can actually make the playoffs with it.
Wright also addressed Dillon Gabriel, acknowledging the young QB's potential, but pointing out his size as a significant limitation. While Gabriel couldn't control his stature, Wright believed it wasn't going to be enough to elevate him to the starting role. With all these factors in play, Wright made it clear. Shedeur Sanders was the guy who should be leading the team. Shedeur is doing great, and even if he would not have been great, he still would be leading the team. Wright also dug into the stats from the training sessions, acknowledging that while they might not hold much weight in the grand scheme, they still can't be ignored. Every time those numbers came up, Shedeur Sanders was either at the top or, at the very least, outshining the other quarterbacks. Whether it was completion percentage, decision-making, or overall efficiency, Sanders consistently stood out. Wright pointed out that, even though it's early, these training camp stats were hard to dismiss. It wasn't just one flashy performance. Shedeur kept performing well, day in and day out, showing a level of consistency that the others simply couldn't match.
Yeah.
And the fact that whatever those training camp stats are worth, and maybe it's next to nothing, it's not nothing, and it's not 0% that they're worth, and every time we show him, he's at least in line with everybody. And so I just think
generally better.
I think there is.
On the other hand, Chris Brousard also weighed in, urging the Browns to take a serious look at what Shedeur Sanders could bring to the table this season. Brousard didn't hold back, calling for the Browns to put Sanders in and let him prove what he could do in real game situations. According to Brousard, if Shedeur shows what he's capable of, he could very well be the franchise quarterback Cleveland's been searching for. Brousard didn't mince words when it came to Dillon Gabriel. He made it crystal clear, Gabriel wasn't the Browns' answer at quarterback. In fact, Brousard stated that Gabriel seemed more like a career backup, not someone who could lead a team as the starter. He wasn't convinced Gabriel had the tools to take on a first-team defense and perform at a high level. And Brousard wasn't alone in this assessment. He pointed out that the Browns themselves weren't considering Gabriel as their starting quarterback, reinforcing that the team didn't see him as the long-term solution.
I agree with Haslam in that obviously you need to see what your rookies can do. And I do think they think of Gabriel as like a backup, like a career backup maybe.
Garrett Bush, meanwhile, highlighted Shedeur Sanders' growth during the training sessions. According to Bush, Sanders had not only stepped up his game on the field, but had also shown maturity off of it. Bush pointed out that even when Sanders wasn't getting as many reps, He remained professional and handled the media with poise, showing a level of leadership beyond his years. But it wasn't just about how Sanders handled the spotlight. Bush mentioned the looming injuries and how they were likely to force the team's hand, giving Sanders more and more opportunities with the first-team reps. As the depth chart shifted, Bush believed that Sanders' chances to prove himself would only increase.
I've been at camp every single day. I got a lot of respect because his game has really stepped up. He's shown a lot of growth in knowledge of the playbook, shown some maturity, handled not getting reps very well. Everything he's asked in the press conference, he's answered well. And now, with injuries, because things happen.
Garrett Bush was absolutely confident in his assessment of Shedeur Sanders. He made it clear that if Sanders continued to prove his worth, showing consistent performances week after week, there would be no way the Browns could keep him off the field. Bush was adamant. If Sanders kept playing at a high level, the starting job would be his, no questions asked. Bush didn't just think it was a possibility, he sounded certain that Shedeur Sanders was on the fast track to securing a spot in the starting lineup. With the way Sanders had been developing, handling pressure, and now getting more first-team reps, Bush believed it was only a matter of time before the young quarterback earned the opportunity to lead the Browns. As Bush put it, the ball was in Sanders' court. If he kept making plays and impressing, the Browns would have no choice but to hand him the reins as the franchise quarterback. Despite all the hype surrounding Shedeur Sanders' rapid rise, he's always remained patient and focused on the long game. In a recent interview, he shared a powerful message about his mindset. Sanders made it clear that he wasn't wasting any time waiting for his opportunity. He was doubling down on his understanding of the game. For Shedeur, it wasn't just about being physically prepared when the moment came. He emphasized the importance of mental readiness as well. His goal wasn't just to step onto the field, it was to step onto the field with the complete confidence and understanding of what it takes to succeed at the highest level.
I'll say just have a deeper level of understanding because I know whenever I get my opportunity, I gotta maximize it. So that's something you have to change in the mentality standpoint and the mental standpoint is okay. I just gotta think about what I could do to get better.
Even the first-team players are starting to take notice of Shedeur Sanders' rapid development. Jerry Jeudy, a standout wide receiver, spoke highly of Sanders, praising his growth both on and off the field. Jeudy made it clear that Shedeur had become noticeably more confident and more precise in his play. He pointed to the progress Sanders had made since OTAs and minicamps, where he was already showing flashes of brilliance. According to Jeudy, it was clear to everyone that Shedeur had only gotten better as time went on. His growth wasn't just physical, it was mental too. Myles Garrett, one of the league's premier defenders, added even more fuel to the growing buzz surrounding Shedeur Sanders. When asked if Sanders could live up to the sky-high expectations, Garrett's response was immediate and powerful. "Since he's joined the NFL and I've seen him practice," Garrett said, "I'm sure he can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league." Those words weren't just a compliment. They were a statement of belief from one of the most dominant forces in the NFL. Garrett's confidence in Sanders sent a clear message. Shedeur wasn't just some rookie. He was someone who had already proven in practice that he had the tools to compete with the best. The buzz surrounding Shedeur Sanders' potential to start for the Browns has only intensified as more voices from around the league continue to weigh in. From experts like Nick Wright, who boldly declared Sanders should be the starter, to Chris Brousard urging the Browns to give him a chance, it's clear that Shedeur's rise is far from just speculation. It's becoming a real possibility. Even seasoned players like Jerry Jeudy and Myles Garrett have recognized Sanders' growth, both on and off the field. Jeudy highlighted his growing confidence and precision, while Garrett, no stranger to facing elite quarterbacks, expressed full belief that Sanders could go toe-to-toe with anyone in the league. What sets Sanders apart is his unwavering patience and dedication. Despite the growing hype, he's focused not just on being physically ready, but mentally prepared for when the opportunity comes. His maturity and work ethic have impressed coaches and teammates alike, making it clear that when his moment arrives, he will be more than ready to seize it. As the training camp progresses and injuries continue to shuffle the depth chart, it seems like Shedeur Sanders' time might be coming sooner than anyone expected. The question now isn't if he can start, it's when. So, what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders ready to take the reins as the starting quarterback for the Browns? With all the hype, his steady growth, and the support from players like Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy, do you believe he can live up to the sky-high expectations? Or is it still too early to hand him the starting role? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Sanders is the future of the franchise, or is there someone else who deserves the spotlight? We'd love to hear your take on all of this.